Alright, so some of you will probably remember from years ago, I had a Panasonic HC-V700 and yeah, that camera broke due to a little bit of rowdiness at school. But hey, I got another camera here. It's kind of the same idea, although it is a year newer. And if I would have gotten this back in 2012, it would have been a little bit closer to $1,000. For perspective, I spent about, well, I didn't spend, I used Christmas money to spend about $200 on the TM41. But anyway, this here camera that I've got, I actually spent less on. I think I picked this up for about $140, free shipping, but it's just has the camera and an aftermarket charger, so make of that what you will. Oh boy, packing peanuts. Alright, so we've got the aftermarket charger set to 5 volts. Something else. Looks like this is a camera. Huh. They always appear bigger when they have the bubble wrap on them, so it's probably not quite that big. Anything else, or is this all just packing peanuts? Yep, this all just appears to be more packing peanuts. So now I've got more packing material for when I decide to ship out some other stuff. Alrighty, I've liberated this from its thing. 5-volt charger. I've actually got a charger that's very similar to the one that would have come with the camera. It's from my TM41. I've also got an AV cable. I should probably go over to my stepdad's house and pick those up. Anyway, this will probably do for now. This just has the stock battery. I have an extended battery shipping in, but it's not here yet because I ordered it like 5.5 hours afterward. Anyway. Okay, so I guess this is bigger than I originally thought that it was. I did a little bit of reading on this. This camera has, I believe, a 15 megapixel sensor, which it uses because while it only has, I believe, like 20-something times optical zoom, it doesn't really say on the front here, 21 times optical zoom, it's got 46 times intelligent zoom, which many people may be familiar with that on Panasonic cameras. It basically just zooms it in a bit further than it should be possible to. And this one does that because it's got 15 megapixels to work with. Yeah, if you read up on this thing, you'll see on a lot of sources the actual image sensor is 15 megapixels, although the photos on this thing only go up to 6 megapixels. Interesting. And it looks like the case and quite possibly the lens, yep. It's going to need a little bit of cleaning. The dude on eBay said that this was cleaned. I have my doubts about that, but fuck it, that's neither here nor there at this point in time. Inside here, this is another reason that I wanted to go with this camera. The microphone jack. Now, if this is anything like other Panasonic cameras that I'm familiar with, the microphone should be plug-in power. Don't know if it will be, but it should be. If not, I don't generally tend to use microphones incompatible with non-powered ports. Also, it's capable of 1080p 60. The camera that I'm recording with is not capable of that, but I've got AVI Synth and QT-GMC, so I'm not terribly worried. There's also a shoe adapter here, or shoe port for the adapter that this would have come with from the factory. I didn't get it, though, because I bought this used. But the adapter can be had on eBay for pretty cheap. So I might pick one of those ones up just as kind of like a cold shoe mount for the microphone. Oh yeah, that's another thing. A lot of people in their old videos were referring to the shoe adapter as a thing for a hot shoe. It's not a hot shoe. The shoe adapter does not have pins to be powered, and it doesn't even have any real way of interfacing with anything in the camera other than It could provide power, but it doesn't. So it's a cold shoe. But yeah, it's got the same AV multi-plug that my TM41 used to have, so that cable will be compatible. The charging plug is the same barrel style 5-volt plug, obviously 5 volts, so I can just get that from my old camera and use that with this. The extended battery is on its way, so I will have that to work with, and I won't have to be limited to, I think this is probably going to be like 100 or 120 minutes recording time. The record button on this is a little bit more mushy than I'm used to. SD card slot. I think this one's capable of SD-XC, so I can just get my 128 gig card that's not really being used with anything and put this in here to record some test video. Because this doesn't have any built-in storage, which isn't really a problem, but yeah. Alright, let's see if the battery that came with it, looks like it has a charge. Set date and time. Yeah, sure. January 1st, no, it's December 5th, 2017, roughly about, oh fuck, it's actually probably about 2 p.m. I'll be right back. Alright, so I got the date and time set, and then I decided I wanted to clean off the lens, so I did that. It was really easy. I just used toilet paper and glasses cleaner, and then after I got that off and the toilet paper started disintegrating, I just used a microfiber cloth to get all the little particles off of there. So it's nice, clean, and ready to go again. And then on the side here, I just kind of wetted down another piece of tissue and wiped it off. There was a couple of other little spatters. It looked like somebody had honestly spilled their vanilla latte on it. I would have just said coffee, but it legit looked like vanilla. There's another fucking mark on there. I'll get to that. Either way, date and time's all set up. I've got some of the settings set the way that I want them to, although I haven't turned the use beeps off, you know, the ding, ding. Huh. It only has one click, but it does have a stop before you get to the click, so I think that this is technically a 2-position photo button. That's a step up from most of their 2012 models. Anyway, let's find out if this thing will take an SD-XC card. I've got a 128 gigabyte micro SD that I got on sale on Black Friday last year for 12 bucks. So that's all good and cool. Alright, notch faces over this way, so put this in, clicks into place nicely. This is a little bit more solidly in place than on the V110 that V Westlife showed, where you could just kind of like accidentally brush it. This one you actually have to hit it with a little bit of meaning to actually push it out of place, or you could just tape it on there, I really don't know. Anyway, let's turn the camera on and see if it's compatible with this card. Check card. What? No. Fuck you, I'm gonna format the card. I'm also gonna want to turn these... Yes. I'm also gonna want to turn these beeps off, because these are really annoying. Working. It's doing something. Hey. And now we should have 11 hours. Huh. My Canon camera that also does 1080p 60 on AVC HD only gives me 10 hours. The fuck's up with that? Anyway, it's got that hybrid optical image stabilization, which you can turn off and then just have it use the same kind of stabilization that this camera has, and I can give you a short demonstration of that. So this one's got its, I guess, analog for Sony's powered image stabilization. Or active, or whatever, I don't know, Canon's powered image stabilization, but as you can see, It's pretty stable at about 16 times zoom, which is the maximum zoom range of this camera. And the camera that I'm recording with only has a 1.5 megapixel sensor. Alright, this is the Panasonic HC-V700. We've got hybrid stabilization on. Go ahead and zoom up to about the same amount that that other one did. Quite a bit more stable. Also, the picture appears to be slightly less noisy, which is nice. I'll go ahead and turn hybrid stabilization off. Do I have a button for that on this quick menu here? Nope. Ooh, white balance change. Okay. Now I have hybrid stabilization off, and this thing has the same stabilizer icon that the 2009 TM10 has. So we'll zoom up to 16 times. And it appears to be about as stable as the TM10 was. I like the hybrid stabilizer better, but this one might be a little bit more useful in certain applications. Oh yeah, by the way, this is the camera that I was originally shooting with. The HDC TM10. This thing's a little bit beat up. I bought this camera after my Canon HF10 died, because I wanted something that didn't have microphones as bad as the Sony CX190. Although it does have that little issue where it basically rests on the screen, because the screen's so heavy. Does this V700 have the same issue? Let's see. I'm going to set this down on a box here. And no, the camera's actually heavy enough to keep it from tipping over. That's a welcome change. Also, it seems to have much better contrast in low light, and the sensitivity's a little bit better. Also 60p. That's cool. And the white balance adjustment is pretty quick, although whether or not it's accurate is entirely up for debate. Yeah, kind of. Ooh, that's some interesting contrast right there. The carpet is not nearly that saturated with white. I don't know if that's going to show up on the actual video when I import it into the computer, but I saw that and I was like, that's interesting. Now, if only there was a way that I could actually set a switch to turn hybrid stabilization on and off. I mean, there's the button to turn stabilization on and off entirely, but it doesn't switch between hybrid and regular. That's kind of annoying, because I can't go through this right here on the menu screen that it actually lets me access here. And no, I'm not bullshitting you. There is no way to actually set this thing to do anything between hybrid and regular stabilization. There's no option to set for access outside of the menu while you're recording. This is very mildly infuriating. Let me try this out here. Full zoom range. Yeah, no, it doesn't really do anything. Alright, full zoom with hybrid stabilization turned on. It's actually not that much better. But this is a good test to see if the full zoom looks like shit or not. Because it's essentially digital zoom, but it's actually using the resolution of the sensor to its advantage. So, yeah, let's go ahead and see if this looks like shit. Oh yeah, this fucker flashes a warning on the screen whenever you're in low lighting in 60p mode. It's like, oh hey, this might not work out very well. Shut up. But it does work. And the image actually looks reasonably sharp in the LCD. I'll have to see if it looks that way when I get it onto the computer. But so far, it's looking like it might be a good thing. And it's got a reasonably wide-angle lens. How's the distortion on that straight line there? It's not as bad as the Sony cameras from around about the same time, but they're still very, very little bit of distortion visible on the display here. So yeah, I'm going to go get some other test footage, and then I'm going to go ahead and put this in the computer and see if this camera's good or shit. And hopefully I can actually get a 3D lens for this thing. This uses the later version of the 3D lens, so it's rather expensive even for a broken one. So I'm going to have to save up a bit of money to go ahead and get one of those, and then we'll see what 3D video looks like out of this. It's got those little notches so that you can actually mount the 3D lens on the front of it, and it's just right there. Yeah, little notches for mounting, I think. It's also got a really nice and large lens thread, which is a little bit of a change from Panasonic's older cameras that had a bit of a tiny one. I think it was like 30 millimeters, maybe. I can use this for my little cooking endeavors that I've been starting to get into this year. If anybody remembers seeing those in my videos. And ooh, the white balance. White balance? Okay, that's one thing that I really like about this camera. My Sony and my Canon camera, the XR500 and the HFS21, both take quite a while to white balance when you aim it at something. This one, let's fuck it up again. So now it thinks that's white. Come on. Oh, make a liar out of me now, don't I? Fucking asshole. It did fast the first time. Maybe if I give it a bit more light. There we go. So yeah, this one's reasonably fast at white balancing. Of course, that means that there's room to fuck up. But I haven't owned this thing for long enough to know if that's going to happen. Holy shit, I looked away from the screen and then I turned back and it's different. It's white balancing on my skin. This doesn't make me feel much better about my skin color, you fucking asshole. It's telling me to expect about an hour on the battery life, which is, funny enough, is actually what I got out of my Panasonic SDR H60 that my dad got for me back in 2008. Difference being that this one's much better quality because it's high def, 60p, and it's got a massive fucking sensor. Okay, intelligent contrast, well, doesn't really seem to do anything for that weird shadow glitch. Then again, it doesn't really do anything for anything else either. One thing that's kind of annoying is when you pull up the menu on the screen, it takes like 3 seconds for it to go away. There's no thing that you can tap on the screen to make it go away earlier than that. You just gotta wait it out. And if you're trying to set up a shot, that might get to be a little bit of a minor nuisance. It's nothing huge. I wouldn't say that it's a selling point or reverse selling point, but it is kind of annoying. Alright, let's switch scenes and see how fast it can adjust the white balance. That was terrible. I should have gone for something a little bit better. Alright, take two. Not bad. That's one thing that I'm really starting to fall in love with this camera is how fast it is to adjust to the scene. Although I could see that going wrong in certain situations, but it seems to be working pretty well so far. So I'm not going to give it too much shit yet. And 46mm lens thread. I wonder if I could just get one of the CLT1 lenses to use with this thing for 3D video. Although I think that the CLT2 has a little bit of a different alignment, so it might not look right. You can see the infrared thing flashing for my phone's proximity sensor. That might not be good for the battery. Anyway, eBay decided... oh, fuck. eBay just decided to notify me that my package has been delivered after I've been playing with it for about 5 minutes. Thanks, guys. I'm doing the how much of this shit can I read on the display at full zoom test. Even the Canon camcorder kind of fails at this. But this one seems to be doing reasonably well. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and test the microphone inputs with a source like the 3DS. Hopefully the little improvised auxiliary thing that I have here will actually work. After I get done testing this, I'm going to test it with a condenser microphone and see if it's plug-in power or not. Be right back. Alrighty, so I plugged this little Walkman microphone into the camera. This thing will not work unless your recording device is capable of plug-in power. So, yeah. This thing seems to be giving me a response. We'll see if it's actual audio and not just a whole bunch of garbage.